following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4WN Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, I'm back in Hurricane, Florida. But it's funny that I left a hurricane to hit one in Louisiana, or not Louisiana, in Louisville. And then, I don't know. I think I would have rather been here during the hurricanes, to be honest, and we'll find out why in a second. And meanwhile, I just got back from the most recent leg of the Pipeman Radio Tour. And the last show we did was Aftershock. I'm going to talk about Aftershock mostly. And I ran into some people at Aftershock, as I always do. But this time I ran into show hosts. And so they're going to be on with us from other stations on this network, from other shows. And they were at Aftershock too, because it is like one of the most incredible festivals. In the meantime, let's bring on the Pipe Nuts. We'll bring on the Rebel Meddler, and I don't even know what Juan's nickname is. Have we gave him a name yet?
No.
What would you like your name to be, Juan? Rebel is Swamp Nut.
Well, my nickname, this was years ago, was Magic Juan.
Okay, so how can we turn that in? So we'll call you Magic Nut. You're Magic Nut then.
There you go.
I want to find out, why were you called Magic Juan? I mean, you're not as tall as Magic Johnson, so it's not for basketball.
Yeah, this was around the time that Magic Mike came out. And I received the nickname Magic Juan.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So you're the Hispanic Magic Mike.
Yeah, it's like Magic Mike on a budget.
Rebel. Rebel.
Yes. Sorry, my mind was in the gutter for a second there. Go ahead.
Well, for a second, your mind's always in the gutter. Okay.
It is. It is.
Because Rebel doesn't come cheap. That's the difference. And I'm not sure why.
Because
all right,
I'm an expensive habit.
What about you? You want to stay Swamp Nut? Yeah, that's your staying at. You've been that for years. Rebel, we have had a long history of like Hispanic community on this show. Did you know that? Yeah, we have. Do you remember the dating show that I had?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that in a second. Let's bring on our guests first, because they're pretty cool. Don't bring them on yet, Juan. Let me announce them first. Okay. I could tell he was about to hit the button. Okay. So first, we're going to bring on our resident traditional Chinese medicine expert, also expert in acupuncture, also expert in cupping. And let me tell you something, okay? My back is all beat up and bruised because of this doctor that hosts the Language of Healing on W4WN Radio right here on the Talk 4 Media Network. So let's bring on Dr. Nicole Fortin.
Hello. Needles?
Oh, there. Well, let me tell you something.
Do some acupuncture on my face today.
Did you really?
I could.
What is that? It looks like there's like water spouting out of your face. Isn't that like the what is it? The falsehood that people that are scared of acupuncture think. They think if you do acupuncture, like you're gonna have all these holes in you and water from your body, that your 80% water is gonna start coming out of you like you're a shower head or something.
I think when people mention acupuncture, they mostly imagine Pinhead.
Ah, yeah.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. Yeah.
I think of S&M actually, to be honest.
You know what I think most of? Do you remember that the movie Final Destination?
Oh yeah, that's a great
When he
video
falls
game
off.
too. Yeah. So speaking of what were we
Bruises.
speaking of? No, speaking of
Horror
Pinhead.
movies.
I don't know. Would we call Pinhead or what? No, seriously. We have also our true crime expert. She doesn't like to be called true crime expert because she's like a handwriting forensic analysis expert. Okay. But I call her the true crime expert. And that's why we're going to ask her ridiculous questions today that she probably doesn't even have the answer to. But if it's about the Zodiac Killer, she has the answer. And I want to find out if the Zodiac Killer was at Aftershock, because I think we talked about this last year, because last year there was a serial killer that possibly was at Aftershock. I kid you not. That's not even a joke. That was last year. But this year, I think this host of another show was probably the one we needed to be more worried about. She was even in the mosh pit. Okay. I mean, you want to talk about shenanigans? She was the queen of Aftershock shenanigans, but she's also one of my favorite shows, except for every other show that's my favorite on the network.
Oh God.
Nanette Barto from Finding the Zodiac. Hit the road, Jack. Finding the Zodiac. And look, she turned black. Okay, she is a serial killer. Look at this.
She's hiding in the shadows.
His smile screams serial killer all day long.
She was hiding in the shadows.
Listen, all the serial killers, if you study them all, they all were like such serious charmers. Most of them, not all of them. You know, so yeah, that smile isn't fooling anybody. So
it fooled everybody at Aftershock.
Yeah, exactly. So right off the bat, I do want to discuss two things. First, I just want to get it out of the way right now because I binged all of it yesterday. All of a sudden, all over Netflix, all over the news, it's about the Menendez brothers. I thought they were dead already. Like I don't even know how they're back. Okay, but they actually might get out of prison for the first time since they've been in prison. They are actually at the same place. They separated them on purpose because they were dangerous together. Now they're together and possibly coming out on the streets, and they might win tickets here on the Adventures of Pipeman for Aftershock next year. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And so the Menendez brothers, what is your opinion, Nanette, about the Menendez brothers, what they did, and the possibility of, after all this time, which, by the way, if you watched anything, it's because of your generation, Juan, and below, that these like sociopaths might be released from prison because your generation and lower is feeling bad for them because we're in this generation and like they pulled this whole bullshit story, and your generation and younger doesn't research anything. They just look at headlines and watch TikToks. And because of all these people watching TikToks of the Menendez brothers, I kid you not, this was in the news, that they're trying to get these sociopaths released from prison. I mean, they didn't just kill their parents. These people that want them released weren't even here when this went on. They weren't even born. They don't even want to just get them released. I mean, they didn't just kill their parents. I mean, they premeditated one of the most vicious killings ever in history. Not only that, went back outside to reload to do more after they were already dead. Well, their mom was possibly still alive, so they had to make sure that didn't happen. Then they tried to blame it on the mafia. Then they lied about everything. And then in a court of law, they learned how to cry and tell some sob story about what happened to them. Now, maybe it happened to them. And if they did, yes, I think they probably should have killed whoever molested them. But what they did was beyond that. And they were also proven sociopaths before they ever murdered their parents. Okay. Maybe it's because of that. But a lot of these younger generations that want them released are like, oh, the poor things were abused and they deserve to kill their parents. I got news for you. There's a lot of people on this earth that are going to die soon if they're let out, because everybody's going to think, oh, my parent yelled at me, I'm going to go fucking murder them brutally because they yelled at me. Anyway,
I don't think that's the case. Just saying.
Well, I'm just saying that is what there's the TikTok videos. That's what it's doing. Like if you watch the documentary, okay, basically that's what's happening is these kids today are feeling bad for the Menendez brothers and think they were rightful in doing what they did and should be released from prison immediately because of the fact of what happened to them. And yes, if what happened to them, yeah, maybe that there's an excuse, but there's plenty of us that have been abused in many different ways. We still didn't go kill people doing it after it.
Right.
Okay. You got to learn a little coping skills, dude. You know, but
it's called think about it, but don't actually do it.
Right. I've thought about it. Okay. I've thought about killing a lot of people. Usually it was thing one and thing two. Okay. But, you know, and for those of you that are fairly new to my show, thing one and thing two are my ex-wives. Yes. So that even if you ever meet thing one, she will actually say to you, you probably know me as thing one. So just say it. But
at least
Nanette,
they know their place.
I want to know your expertise here of what happened or with the Menendez brothers. Like, what is your opinion? And are they the Zodiac killers? And is that why they're getting released?
Definitely not the Zodiac Killer, but I think just like the Zodiac Killer and many other people that are involved with it, pardons are heavy when you have money. So I can't imagine what kind of evidence is going to help them get released. The story's been told. They've already expressed the abuse that they went through, and they weren't found. I mean, they weren't pardoned then. They weren't, given the opportunity to get off then. But I just finished another docuseries. I don't know why I'm so addicted to these boys and what they did.
I was watching it all day while I was working. Like I watched I don't know, hours of it.
It's so horrific what they did and astonishing what they did. But the one thing that sticks out in my mind is I heard one of the boys say that when the police arrived, not only did they not check them for gun smoke residue, so these boys would have been covered in it at this point in time. They didn't check their car where they had all the ammunition and the guns. They didn't ask them a single question. So clearly when you have money, you are completely out of the loop of being a possible suspect. Even when they walk in and find you in the scene, they could have properly searched everything, including their car, and done the tests on them and had found their suspects almost immediately. So I just find it's another case where the police came in, money's involved, and they bumbled it. I mean, for as long as it took for us to come to a resolution in this case, it just absolutely blows my mind that they didn't start with those boys.
I just came up with a great idea. I'm going to start a Pipeman GoFundMe to raise money to unalive people that I want unalive in this world.
I would say bring back.
I think you get in trouble for having lists like that.
Yeah, I think you could. And your phone's listening.
if you get enough money,
and
if
this
you
is
get
recorded
enough
forever.
money, as Nanette said, if you get enough money, oh, look at this. Somebody knows Rebel all too well. Rebel's mind lives in the gutter. Well, Rebel, you have met your match. Meet Nanette Barto.
Yeah, I was going to say, could you please scoot over? Mine needs to swim on by.
And Rebel, what are you drinking? At first I read that and I'm like, what is she? Is she drunk on the show? But I guess you're just drinking some tea or something, aren't you?
It's disguised as tea.
Rebel, what are you drinking?
Apple juice.
Apple, yeah. Oh,
Apple
sure.
juice.
Apple juice that tastes like bourbon. Is that what it is?
No, it definitely
Speaking
does
of
not
bourbon,
taste like
okay.
bourbon.
For those of you
It
that
tastes like apple juice.
For those of you that don't know, like the real me, I rarely drink. Okay, but I am such a shameless promoter that I will do anything during an interview. Okay, so
shot.
Yeah. We had this band, Moonshine Bandits, that came for an interview, and first thing they didn't do is they didn't bring moonshine though. Like I said something to them. Okay, they brought over a bottle of bourbon. Okay, and I'm like, what the hell? You're Moonshine Bandits. You're supposed to bring me moonshine, not bourbon. Okay,
homemade.
Yeah. But let me tell. So of course, and this has happened in years past when at like Ladder in Life and Bourbon and Beyond. It's like, I don't know that everybody wants to drink during interviews, and I can't be rude. The Pipeman can't be rude in that respect. Okay, so I did have I had one shot of bourbon during the interview, and he saw it was empty, so he filled it again. So I had to take another one. It was the last interview. It was the last interview of the day, and it is California. So then they started passing other shit around during the interview, and it was a very, you gotta listen to the interview because it got better as the interview went along. Just saying. So let's talk about. Oh, I lost one of my ears. Oh my God! There, it's back.
Mike Tyson.
Again. Yeah, no, what happens is sometimes, you know me, I hit the freaking wire because I'm Italian and I use my hands to speak. I can't speak without hands. God forbid the Menendez brothers get out of jail and they tie me up. I won't be able to talk because I can't use my hands. So
you'll start stuttering.
Yeah, I just won't be able to talk at all. Like I can't say something without my hand. No, I'm not going to sound like
for you.
No, I'm not going to sound like Joe Biden. Okay. So anyway, and no, listen, I do have to give kudos to the guy. Okay, because he did overcome being a real stutterer to actually become president of the United States. So whether you like his policies or not, whether you like him or not, that's a pretty good, cool thing to overcome. I think it's just like me. Okay, I'm almost back to the way I was when I was a kid. Because through this whole, listen, since August, all I've been around is festival dust and cats that I'm highly allergic to. I don't even know what it's like to breathe anymore. Today's like my best day breathing, and you can still hear it. But it kind of, the reason I really, really don't like it is because it reminds me of when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I had a really, really bad deviated septum and inflamed adenoids to where I couldn't breathe at all out of my nose. Like literally, if you held my mouth, nothing would come out of my nose at all. Zero. Like some people, it's a little bit. Me, nothing. So I got made fun of when I was a kid, when I was in high school, because of how I spoke. Well, isn't that the way it is? All the high school jocks turn into the fat beer belly, beer drinking, bald idiots, and they saw their day. And people like me that were either geeks at one time because I was in orchestra and in the band and chorus, and listen, and then you got made fun of because you're in chorus and talk like this. because that is how I talked. I mean, if you ask my brothers, they will do an imitation of me, and that's exactly what they will do. And here I am, a motivational speaker on the radio, podcaster, and doing interviews at Aftershock. That's why I also needed a helper. Like I have different helpers at these things. Depends if I have a photo pass, and I bring a photographer. If I don't have a photo pass, I bring somebody and tell them they're a photographer, but they're really not. Like when Rebel does the photography, it's like we're at Aftershock and she's taking pictures of a Big Mac, but she doesn't do Aftershock. She does Louder Than Life sometimes, but yeah, she takes picture. There's sometimes Rebel has taken pictures at Louder Than Life, and I'm like, what the hell is that? She took a picture of the press area blurry, and I'm like, why did you post that? She posted it too. It's not that she took a picture and it turned out blurry and so it's okay, you delete it. But she actually, so maybe Rebel, you could enlighten us on that, as why on God's earth you would post a blurry picture.
Because it's a picture, it was taken, and it deserves to get out of its, trapness in the camera. So I put them out there.
You know what? I should have you meet my daughters, okay? Yeah, actually, you did meet Jessica, okay? And I'm going to call Jessica and tell her what you do. Because Jessica and Rachel both are like, Dad, you're not allowed to post that. Why not? It looked, no. Like I have to take 50 pictures of them before I can post one. And then
because you can't post unauthorized pictures of people.
No, it's because they're crappy pictures, Rebel. They don't want to post it because they're crappy fucking pictures. Okay, if it's the crappy fucking picture, don't post it. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay,
that's why you should take me.
Unauthorized pictures are unauthorized of people, but
now then there's the other side. Then there's
at an event you can take pictures of everyone there.
Yeah. It's
You're
there. Your media taking pictures. Okay,
yeah. You're in the background
area.
just snapping pics.
Actually, I took pictures of people's backs. I was like, it's not about how you walk in; it's how you leave.
And my gosh, and all the T-shirts, all the things. Oh my gosh.
So now let's take the opposite side of the fence now. So for Aftershock and Rocklahoma, I gave Dr. Nicole Fortin the opportunity to do what you would normally do, Rebel, at Louder Than Life. Now, unlike you, she did not post any bad pictures, but I don't have the pictures yet because she took like 35,000 pictures, of which 5,000 each are of the exact same pose. So
power burst.
She's in charge of going through those. Like it's like even if you were to make your own book, remember the old days where you would draw pictures to make a book? It would still look like a still picture and not a book that was changing. Okay. I mean, there isn't even a crinkle in their lip that is different.
Hair lip.
Yeah, sometimes it's eyes open, they got the face different, people are talking and it's action.
I mean, more is better, okay?
And we live in a digital world.
I'd rather have 30,000 clear pictures than one blurry one of a Big Mac, okay? But go on.
There was no Big Mac involved.
Tell us, Dr. Nicole Fortin, about your experiences at Aftershock. But first, before you do, don't say anything yet. I just want to say what I was referring to earlier. Okay, so I couldn't breathe. I haven't been able to breathe in forever. So we tried. I had Dr. Nicole Fortin actually do some acupuncture on me so I could breathe. Okay, because I was so over it. I was even taking allergy meds and it wasn't freaking working. There were literally the allergies were so bad in California that the minute I stepped off the plane, I stopped breathing. And then you have the festival dust. Like one night I blew grass out of my nose. I'm shitting it up. Okay.
It was California. What kind of grass was that?
Yeah.
It was the kind that made me not be able to breathe. Let's say that. But I will say that the day she did the acupuncture on me was probably my best breathing day. I was able to breathe in the back in the press area for a period of time while I was doing interviews. Not perfect, but at least I wasn't like, sound like this, because I did sound like that a lot. Or I wasn't like sneezing during the interview or snot running down my face during the interviews or anything like that. And so like when I went out in the pit areas, nothing can save that, because you're just like eating this dust. If you look at the table, you can see on the table the dust. It's like a layer. Like, I mean, you could take it off with a shovel, and that's what you're breathing all day long. But I want to give kudos, and anybody out there really needs help without these stupid drugs that they give you that don't work. I took the Allegra under protest. It takes me a lot to get there. It did not work, but the acupuncture did help to get me through interviews. So thank God for Dr. Nicole Fortin, or else I might have missed all my interviews that day. Now you can speak.
Yeah, you're welcome. About what?
Just about the question. You know how many times that's happened to me on the stand when they ask, you're going to ask a question, you got to stop after the first question.
Yeah, well, see, I do it on purpose, because you got to remember where we're at. I freaking asked you what your experience was like at Aftershock. Then I said, no, wait, don't say anything yet. And then I gave you all kinds of praise, and now I shouldn't have given you praise, because now you can't think of what I said. But there it is.
Oh, I missed that. I missed the question before. What did I think of Aftershock? Well,
I didn't say what did I think of. What did you think of? I said, tell us about your experience at Aftershock.
Okay, tell us about your experience. Well, my throat is also still recovering from the dust. Little raspy. That means you had a good time.
I don't know. It's not a freaking good time when you're miserable like that, but it is.
Yeah,
a
I
good
know.
Time.
There's something sexy about Vera DeMilo.
The only thing that makes me feel better about that when it happens is when I ask everybody else and they're feeling the same way. I'm like, oh, good. Because people walk around, they say, oh, I got allergies, but they don't really have allergies. Or it's festival flu, and it's really not festival flu. So, like,
we could call it festival flu. I think that's a good way to describe how you feel when you come out of there.
That's literally what it is called. You can Google it. You Google it, and you'll come up with festival flu. It is a real thing.
Nanette and I were laughing so hard about all the colors of snot that come up. It's like, whoa, I didn't know that shade of brown existed.
Yeah, see? And when you cough up rocks, that's always fun. I've literally coughed up rocks, and that's what was sitting in my throat.
See, I don't know how you had rocks and grass. Like, my face wasn't that close to the ground. I think the Pipeman had a few trips and falls along the way.
Yeah, too much bourbon.
No, but think about it.
Yeah, those guys actually brought three bottles of bourbon.
Yeah, and Corey from Slipknot even stopped the show and said, "What the hell is with the people in the trees?" Like during Slipknot, there were people up in the trees watching like you were at a Grateful Dead show. And it freaked Corey out. He looked up and he's like there's a bunch of people in trees watching the show. Okay. But so tell us about your experience, because Dr. Nicole Fortin helped the Pipeman, but also helped at the festival with the interviews. She took 35,000 pictures, and that was day one. And I was really hoping that, like Louder Than Life, one of the days would get canceled due to a hurricane, so there wouldn't be 35,000 pictures. But all 4 days were great weather. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so tell us more about your experiences. Tell it from your point of view, watching the whole press experience.
Yeah, that was cool. Sorry, did someone jump in there?
No, you're jumping in.
Yeah, the press experience was quite neat because it's like a little secluded. They really did a good job at like dressing it up, there's so many pictures because there's so much going on, and the really nice backgrounds, and I like colors, and I like people and people in colors, so why not just snap? And so it was like the media
We're talking about
area.
before you took the hallucinogenics. Go on.
Yeah, I don't need those to operate in that way.
But
I'm already in another dimension.
Okay, but like I don't think I was seeing the same colors as you. All there are is black, and in fact, there was one dude that fell out of place because he was the only one with a white shirt on. Okay, but go ahead.
Well, all the different colors of hair, the artists, they're like really cool people, and listening to, just watching you in your mastery, like sitting down with these people, and so many comments of that was the best interview we had. You really have this skill of bringing out like fun in people and meaningful conversation, not just, like the standard questions that I'm sure they get.
Where'd you get your band name?
Yeah, exactly. Because they go around, like I see, there's also lots of other media people there. So they're hopping from one table to the next. And it was quite busy for sure. Being there. What else about it?
And
I mean, there was
how
some
many did
cool
you
people.
see come straight over to me just because they were excited to see me?
Yeah. Even without your blue hair, people recognize you. You're a legend. So.
There were some that didn't though. They're like, "Oh man, what happened to your hair?"
Yeah.
There was one person that said to me, "I was looking all over the press area for you, and I didn't realize you didn't have your blue hair." And so they couldn't find me because they couldn't find the blue hair dude.
Right. Well, maybe next year. I'll have to bring that back.
There you go.
So, yeah.
And what about the festival itself?
Yeah, the festival itself. I mean, the lineup was stacked. I was really looking forward to seeing all those bands. But it's tough at a festival because there's so many stages and there's some overlapping bands that you want to see and some experiences. But I think we did a good job running.
So cool thing is this shirt I'm wearing. I don't know if it's showing it because it's not.
Yeah,
it's showing.
It's not showing on my end. Okay, but on the back, it has 3 days on there because there were only 3 days they were going to play. First time in 5 years. Riot Fest, Louder Than Life, Aftershock. They did not play Louder Than Life because of Hurricane Helene. I left Florida to get hit by a hurricane in Louisville. Like, God definitely does not like me because that could only be God striking me down in that instance. Okay, I could just.
I think he knew you could ride it out.
Yeah, giving you a little break.
But somebody has to come over to the pipe.
Yeah, you know how to surf.
Yeah, there you go. I was talking at the Aftershock because I didn't know what would be with my Jeep. I live on the beach after the second hurricane because we were watching stuff. I was watching a video of 4 blocks from the studio, 4 blocks from you, Juan, 4 blocks from you, that tornado ripping through the transformer. I don't know how we never lost power because everybody around there and the pictures of people near there in like Avenir and stuff with those huge long dumpsters on their house and cars on their house and we virtually got untouched. So I was not only maybe because God was too busy chasing me, they forgot to hit my studio. I don't know, but I mean, so I'm very thankful that you were safe, Juan, and I was like, I'm the type, I don't worry about anything. Like, what can I do? Okay. And people are asking me, is everything okay? I'm like, I have no clue. I don't care. I'm here. There's nothing I can do. It's a matter of, when I get home, I'm like, I'll find out if my car's still there when I get home. That is literally what I said. But I said, but the good thing is have these big mudder tires on them. So if it floats down in the ocean, it'll surf right back to home. So there you go. I wasn't too worried.
It's like a homing pigeon. It will always come back.
Exactly. It's the pipe sheep. The pipe
Yeah,
sheep
the pipe
will
pigeon.
survive. But so many people, okay, so many people, they spend so much time worrying about things that may or may never happen. Okay. And it's a wasted energy because I didn't worry about it the whole time I came back. Nothing happened to any of my stuff. Everything's fine, hunky dory, and that's it, But my heart does go out to people that's not the case for. Okay. And everybody needs to really help. There's people in Asheville, North Carolina that are so devastated they'll never recover ever from Helene. And there's people devastated here in Florida too. So do what you can, find what you can to help all these people out, because it is really a horrible thing. And we just got super duper, super lucky.
I'll help you
That's
move
amazing. Yeah,
to where they aren't.
That doesn't happen. I went to Louisville. They're never at Louisville. They're never in North Carolina. I was in North Carolina too. They're never there. So it doesn't really matter. It's where the pipe man is. Chaos is gonna happen. Okay.
Well, then I lucked out in California. See, I brought the sunshine and the good vibes.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
you did.
you were my
Countered
protective.
pipe man.
You were my protective shield.
That's right.
She was the antidote.
From the
Yeah.
net. From the net, because the net is
Oh my gosh.
trouble.
No,
And
she was one of the best highlights of that weekend was meeting Nanette.
Because she's trouble. Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Nicole.
why
Yeah.
she was the best, the highlight, because of the trouble she is. I mean,
I like trouble.
listen, that
healthy dose of
infectious
trouble.
laugh,
Healthy trouble.
that she has, that also happens to be the same type of laugh a serial killer would have. It's phenomenal. Okay, and I think.
Could you imagine a serial killer named the Giggler?
Well, there is the Riddler and there is the Joker, so that's not so far fetched, okay? And
That
I
creepy
also
laugh.
let me tell you about a couple interviews too. Like one of the interviews, I interviewed them also at Louder in Life, but it wasn't the whole band because they all had to get in planes and stuff, so they really wanted to get the whole band with me, and they were really cool. Two of the people in the band literally are musicians for Lady Gaga. So we had to talk in the interview about Lady Gaga. So you guys are going to have to listen to all these interviews when they come out. Go to my socials, Pipeman Radio. Find the most updated interviews right now. You'll see Louder in Life ones in there. Check those out. But you need to check out the Aftershock ones if you want to find this out. I'm not even going to tell you which interview it is, okay? You're just going to have to listen to them. But the thing is yeah. So we had a talk about Lady Gaga, and just as I thought, what an amazing freaking artist, an amazing human being. They had nothing but the greatest things to say about Lady Gaga, and working with her. I say with her because she doesn't even act like a boss. And totally the kind of person you would think she is. So for all those haters out there, and multi-talented, listen, I grew a lot of respect that when one day she was singing with Tony Bennett and the next day she was singing with Metallica at the Grammys. There aren't many artists that can pull that.
No,
okay?
she's amazing. She's also a heavy metal lover,
Yeah. So
yeah.
You know what?
That's how she started.
I love when I hear good stuff. Yeah. Okay. So and then here's the other one. Okay. Why are you blocking my head out?
Rebel's on selfie
Rebel
mode.
Go. Rebel, what's it doing? Rebel, why are you bouncing all over the place? Okay. Rebel, we're gonna send you to your room. Okay.
She's swirling.
I want to say about another interview again on that same note. So I was one of the few that got to take a golf cart to Marky Ramone's trailer. So there's very few interviews that I'm like, man, this is going to be cool. This is one of them. Like one of the original Ramones that, and whenever it's like certain people, and a lot of times people that say this stuff, they're just upset because they didn't get an interview or upset for whatever reason, but people like to talk shit about other people. Okay. And I never listened to that. And maybe that's one thing Nicole learned in the press area too, is like, I don't care what anybody says. Maybe they were the shitty interviewer, and maybe that's why the interview was terrible, is what I think,
Right.
usually think.
I think it's a two-way street for sure.
No
Yeah.
doubt. And so got taken to Marky Ramone, and it was an amazing interview. But before I went there, they were like, well, I hope he's in a good mood. And like started talking all kinds of crap. Like, and if I was a different type of personality, I would let that affect me, how I was going to do things. Most people would. But me, it comes from being in the investment business. When I was in the investment business, and brokers used to come with me with these leads, and they would want to tell me what a stroker the guy was, a piker, or this or that. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Here's my notes. I don't want your notes either. I don't want anything. Because just because they had a certain experience with that person doesn't mean I'm going to have that experience unless I already have it in my head. So I don't want to know. I don't want to know all the negative stuff, because maybe I won't experience that negative stuff. Okay. At the same thing, I've heard people say stuff about Amy Lee. And even this weekend, I said something to somebody about, I met her and took a picture with her, and she was the nicest person ever. And she was the one that, said, no, I'm taking a picture with them when her people wanted to take her away. Okay. And that's a cool thing. Nobody has to do that. And somebody still said something negative after I said that. Whoa, then blah, 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 blah. Maybe it was just you, jerk off. Seriously. I mean, like, people need to start being nice around the world to other people. And people need to take a clue also from metalheads and punks, because we could go into a place with like 140,000 people, and there are no outsiders. There is no hate. There's no left and right, unless, you're, Aaron Lewis, then there is. There, I don't know if you heard that part, Nicole or Nanette.
I did. Yeah.
Like, and to me,
There was
doing
a
that
strong
at
promotion
the end,
for one
but doing that
candidate.
at the end is rude. I'm not one of those people that think artists should not express their opinion. They should express their opinion. If they have the pulpit to do so, absolutely they should. I don't understand why people think they shouldn't. I don't understand why people think that they have more of a vote than somebody that is an entertainer. You know what? Then shut off your frickin' devices and TV if you're so against entertainers. It's funny. It's the people that are so against entertainers and musicians that are the ones that are constantly glued to their technology and saying, well, I need food. I need it. I don't need this. You know what? Then shut your shit off if you don't need it. Okay. Yeah. Hypocritical bullshit. Everybody just needs to get along, love each other for our differences, not for how we're the same. Because we're human beings. We should all be different. We shouldn't be the same. It'd be freaking boring if we were. We shouldn't have the same viewpoints. We wouldn't be able to learn from each other if we all had the same viewpoints, opinions, and everything else. Listen, I don't care what side you're on. We shouldn't be on a side. And so, again, I'm all for people saying stuff, but the way that was done is kind of like when the little kid gets the last word from his parents and runs to his room. That's what bothered me about that. It was like the thing was over, and as he's leaving the stage, and he was rather rude about it. Okay, I also have a problem with that. If you don't like a political opponent, you don't need to be rude about it. There's political opponents out there's still some degree of respect for people, even if they don't deserve the respect. Giving respect is about you, not them deserving it. But the fact of the matter is, what are we teaching our kids when we could say, fuck so-and-so of somebody that's the leader of the country? Like, what is that saying how they should treat authority? Okay.
Yeah.
Whether
It's like
you
you have to
that
respect
authority
the
or not.
position. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't have,
That position.
and you don't have to like the person, but you don't have to do that. That's just my opinion. People probably don't agree with me, but I'm so sick of the zero fucks given attitude nowadays. Like, bullshit. You should give a fuck. I don't think people should be a zero fucks given community.
Unless it's Zero from Static X. Yeah.
That's right.
I
And-
think picking a politician to like so that you can argue about it is like believing when you go to the strip club that stripper's in love with you. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's another good. Oh, I got a good story for that. Since you brought that up, years ago, like I've never been a big fan of strip clubs because I know it's stupid. Okay, I know that they, it's just a waste of money and they don't even like you anyway. So I'd rather go to a singles. And I have nothing against the strippers because I've had friends who are strippers, so I know what they think.
I've dated them.
Okay, has nothing to do with that. I have actually dated. I have actually dated at least one or two. And thing two, actually, after we met, she worked for a while as a barmaid in a strip club. I think the barmaids in the strip clubs are hotter than the strip clubs. Just saying. Okay, than the strippers. Just saying. But so anyway, I have a brother that he loved going to strip clubs. So he would always come to my house when I was living in Jersey for the weekend, and he'd want to go to a strip club down the street that I never went to. I was married, had kids. I wasn't in that. But when he wanted to go, he wanted me to go with him. I would go with him. Thing one wouldn't give a shit because she knew I didn't care about going. And so I had long hair, a goatee. I couldn't grow a full beard till I was 50. I'm not
That's because
kidding.
it fell from here to there.
I still have it, so no.
Eat my greatest mouth.
I'm the most terrible Jew ever that I couldn't grow that shit over here, but I guess I was more persistent at 50. And ever since 50, I have not shaved the beard part because I'm afraid it won't grow back. Okay. But anyway, so basically and this brother is kind of like the type, that he is really good looking and he does get the women, but he's one of those people that he insults you and doesn't know he's insulting you. And you'll hear why in a second, because he said, he was like drooling over the bar like the rest of the idiots there. And he was talking to one of these strippers, to your point, Nanette, like this was going to be his future wife or something like that. Like they're having this intelligent conversation, and I'm sitting on the bar stool. I'm sitting in the bar stool against the wall. I'm not even at the bar. I'm against the wall and just chilling. And all the strippers kept coming up to me. And at one point, this is where he gave that, he's insulting you, but doesn't realize he's insulting you. He goes, I don't get it. Why are they all going to you and not to me?
You're the challenge.
Makes no sense. And I'm like, well, because dude, you're sitting over the bar stool drooling like the rest of the idiots that they have no respect for in here. And they can see that I could care less. And so they're not intimidated by me because they know I don't give a shit. Number one. Number two, because to them, I'm playing hard to get.
I bet you they made bets on who was going to get you.
he goes, no, that's not it. And
you never know. Girls can be like guys.
Well, they are totally.
There's a group poem for that.
Humans are all like that. But anyway, so here's the thing is that, and speaking of which, what was it I was going to say, Rebel, before? Another thing, not the Groupon. There was something else we were talking about before. Try to remember what it was, that I'm starting some new thing. But anyway, Nanette, so the thing is that an hour later, he was stewing for an hour because that's how he is. He goes, I figured it out. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, he starts to tell me the story. First of all, I had already forgot about our conversation. Okay. It wasn't that important to me. He goes, well, strippers have a dark side to them, and you have long hair and a goatee, which means you have a dark side. And so that's why they're attracted to you. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's the reason.
That was exactly what I said. So what were you saying, Rebel? Did you find out what I was going to talk about earlier? I probably talked about it already.
You probably talked about it already. Yeah, you did.
There's some new offer I was going to give out to get Aftershock
On
tickets.
Groupon?
Oh, to the Menendez
Oh.
brothers.
Yeah.
You know what?
We can have like a Zodiac Killer Menendez Brothers reunion
Yeah, I think that's
when
what
like
it was.
Iron Maiden plays or something like that.
I think that's what it was. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I did talk about the GoFundMe. Okay, pay attention to the
Oh.
Pipeman GoFundMe that's coming out, so that you can support me getting the Menendez brothers out of jail to take care of anybody that I want them to take care of.
From jail
Now
to
you
babysitter,
do
that's
realize
nice.
saying it out there, he is joking. Please do not.
Well, take care of could
if and
mean
when
give
it
them,
happens.
give them. Take care of could be mean inflicting pain on them by doing cupping, like Dr. Nicole Fortin did. For me. Okay, so I had to go. Okay, I had to go to a doctor's appointment for my neck yesterday because I did way too much head banging, and
That's what she said.
I was like, I hope, true. And I was like, I hope I don't have to. The doctor doesn't ask me to take my shirt off because my shirt looks like somebody just beat me with my back looks like somebody beat me with a baseball bat on the blunt end like this.
Sounds like
Like
it
they
was
were
a wild
stabbing
fun
me.
night
Like
there.
they're stabbing me with a baseball bat. That was Dr. Nicole Fortin. She did that for me. But
Hey,
I just want to
if you're
say,
into that kind of thing, I don't think doctors judge.
I do, but I do love cupping,
Like
and
Willie
that's
You
what
do,
it
by the
was.
way.
I do love
You feel
cupping.
better.
That is what it was. And if you've the first
Sure.
time I ever got
Stick to that
cupping,
story.
I did.
Yeah,
freak out.
yeah, it was cupping.
Yeah.
Cupping.
Sure.
The one thing
Stick
that
to
is
that
not
story,
what it
would you?
sounds like.
Right. It is not
Hey.
what it sounds like.
Wait, was it cupping or cuckolding? I'm not sure. Yet.
Or what?
No,
Don't can't repeat that.
seriously.
Yeah.
The first time I ever had cupping done, I was like, I freaked out when I saw in the mirror because it's scary looking after you
I
get it
freaked
done.
out when I saw your cups. And I do this for a living. I'm like, whoa! What
He was
kind
pretty
of
tight,
evil
huh?
is
Someone said that about him.
inside the pipe man?
It's time to get that blood a flowing, Dean.
I can't even
Yeah.
hear anybody.
Little stagnation.
Yeah, I had a little
People.
stagnation there because I couldn't even hear anything. I heard the net. That was it. I only heard the net. It's kind of like when you're hearing those songs where they take everything else and they every track out and they just do the voice track. That's what it kind of sounded like. So I think that's my clue that it's time to end the show because it's already 3 minutes late anyway. Okay, so
That was fun.
really, really quick elevator speech. Not even elevator speech. 10-second elevator speech. First, Nicole, tell all your
Okay.
socials, all your websites. I hope you're prepared this time and everything about you and your show. If you want to wait, we'll do Nanette first. Go ahead. Tell everybody everything, Nanette.
I'm sorry. Hit the road, Jack. Finding the Zodiac. You can find me on my YouTube channel at Finding the Zodiac, all one word, or you can look me up on the internet under Document Examination and Forensics.
I'm not
Nice.
going to say which girl this dude is referring to, but it might be one. Just
Oh,
so.
thank you. Made my day.
Okay, Nicole, your turn.
Okay, you can find me at The Language of Healing on YouTube and Instagram, and I have a show on W4WN on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes.
And no, Rebel did not go to Aftershock because she has been banned.
Yeah.
I've never been banned from Aftershock.
Banned
I've never
for
even
blurry
been to Aftershock.
pictures.
Never
Look
even
at
get
been
those
to
sweet
Aftershock.
pics to you.
I've
She
never
looks like
stepped
she's
foot in
frozen. She was
California.
frozen there for a second.
I'm not frozen.
It did look frozen to me. It looked like you were waiting for a big hot dog. I don't know.
Let
Anyway.
it go.
She was taking pictures of a hot dog.
Oh my god.
Oh,
And
no.
one last thing I'm going to say before we go. On the flight home, people must have been looking at me weird. And it's a sign that I have kids and grandkids because I was watching the Inside Out 2 movie by myself without kids or grandkids. That movie
Same.
is
It's a good movie.
that movie is
Yeah.
brilliant. And I
Yeah.
really love how They brought anxiety into the picture for nowadays.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
And
anxiety really got a bad
but-
rap. I just
but
don't
then
think
anxiety got drop kicked. You're out of here.
because it was wrong for anxiety to try to take over, and everybody should know not to let anxiety take over. But speaking of taking over, we gotta go.
That's why I wasn't worried about the Jeep, the pipe Jeep. Tune in every week, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, W4CY Radio, W4CY.com to Adventures of Pipeman with all these zany nuts. Well, they're not all here all the time. So, but I hope we had fun. Roll it, Juan.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.